Last year when I reviewed the first season of The Legend of Vox Machina, I thought to myself, this is something I never thought I'd talk about on my channel. I knew it was a very popular thing based on a D&D campaign on YouTube, but I didn't expect to review it. And then season 2 came out, and I loved the first season. And so naturally I wanted to talk about season 2, although I realized I'm late to the party, because season 2 ended about a couple of weeks ago. I'm gonna keep it spoiler-free still for the most part, because I know a lot of people haven't seen any of the seasons yet. Season 1, however, I'm going to give a little bit away because it ended on a cliffhanger. Dragons are incoming and essentially taking over the entire place, and they do. They're unmatched to the dragons, and so our team now has to figure out how to take them down. Now, obviously, the campaign has happened at this point, and so I'm sure people who are fans of the original Critical Role stuff, they know how this plays out. I don't. And so naturally it was pretty interesting to see the entire story progress, which also, this is part of it. There is more to come, I'm sure of that, but season 2 continues the trend of this show continuing to improve on itself. Because season 2 is bigger, a lot more insane, a lot more violent, it's much more well-voiced actually, and it's beautifully animated once again. In fact, it tops the first season in all of those respects, I think, in many ways. It just comes so naturally, and they did a fantastic job once again, all the cast members, and the people who have come on to the show. Like, for example, the main evil dragon, Thordak, is voiced by Lance Reddick. The Lance Reddick. So that's awesome. You know, there's some really cool voice cameos in here that are placed. And I thought they nailed the characters once again. Once again, everyone's got that personality to them, which is absolutely present throughout every scene that they're in. And you get a lot more with some characters that you may have missed out on in the first season. In my review of season 1, I mentioned one character who gets sidelined for a while was this character named Pike. And in season 2, that's who you get a lot of. She's in this very prominently. So, you know, you'll definitely have some improvements in that regard, but also it's about how it's done in terms of its animation and in terms of its action sequences, which are really quite incredible. Prime Video is doing a pretty good job, I think, when it comes to some of the adult animation stuff. This is now the third show I'm covering from them. The first two, those being Invincible and Undone, I thought were fantastic examples of how to do some very mature storytelling with the medium. And season 1 of Vox Machina was great in that it sort of solidified, you know, like what more you can do with it. Because even to date, you see a lot of conversations, bad faith conversations, if you will, about how animation is geared towards children. It's not. We're at the point now where this is very much happening for all ages, but especially for adults as well. I mean, take into consideration the fact that some of the best movies of all time, a couple of them are R-rated adult animated movies, like Akira. That's rated R. You know, and that's probably my favorite movie of all time. My point is to say that season 2 of Vox Machina doubles down on everything that it established in that first season. Just because it has more fun visuals, don't make any mistakes. There are severed limbs and broken bones in this thing throughout, and some very explicit jokes thrown in there for good measure. This is a very violent, brutal season. And the animators have done an incredible job of pulling off some sequences. There's a lot of stuff you get with Grog, as he has this one sword at one point. And eventually you get these sequences where he's absolutely going on a rampage, and it's intense stuff. In fact, I would say the most intense sequences of action throughout the entire season belong to him. They did a fantastic job with that. The storytelling is once again fantastic. It's so lush and layered, and with so many fascinating worlds and different things to explore. Everything is very unique and fascinating, once again, like the first season. And that is a credit to the storytellers who are voicing the characters. They've already done such a great job with the campaign, but as a campaign goes, it's a sprawling thing that lasted a long time. You have to condense that into a scripted season of TV, which is incredibly hard because you sort of have to, you know, work around like what can you do and what can't you do. But also because you're an adaptation, you can also sometimes make some changes, or you can make some, you know, improvements to certain things. I don't know whether or not they did that. I'm going to leave that to the fans. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this video if they've done anything like that. But all the stuff that they have managed to, I guess, pull off from that, I would say it's pretty remarkable, actually. There are some couple of minor pitfalls here and there throughout the season. Like, there are some things that do get a little sidelined, which I wish there was a little more prominence to. Like, for example, that main threat, it's there, but there are certain aspects of that that I feel like get so lost in the sideline for a long time. And after a while, I was just like, okay, are we gonna see more of this character, for instance? But we don't quite right now. I am going to assume that's in the next season, because this also ends on a note that's setting up something to come. But it's fascinating, in terms of like what could happen next. And like I said, I'm sure the fans of the franchise, of the original campaign, they already know where this is going. But still, it's exciting, and it's really, really well done stuff, and I am looking forward to seeing much more of it. And once again, it's an animated show that is honestly one of the better ones that I'm seeing right now. 2 for 2 in terms of seasons. This is one of my favorite adult animated shows at the moment. It's one of my favorite animated shows, period. I love these characters. I love these worlds. The comedy, once again, is crackling. Some jokes not quite as sharp as the first season. Like, there's one in the first season that I still continuously like laugh out loud at. This one has a couple of less of those, but whatever. Regardless of that, Season 2 is another banger. It's really, really great stuff. And if you haven't started watching the show yet at all, I highly recommend checking it out. It's, once again, just a really well done season of TV. I can only say it so many times. And it's, bring forth Season 3, 4, however many you want to make, Clearly, you've got something really great here. I'm going to give The Legend of Vox Machina Season 2 an A. Same grade I gave the first season. It's just, we know what we're doing over here. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. I'm also seeing Creed 3 later on, so I'll have a review for that. I know some critics already have one up. Looking forward to talking about that. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.